If you've been off the mats for a while, you already know how quickly things start to fall apart. Your timing's off. Your body feels heavier. Even the simple task of tying your belt reminds you of how far you've slipped. It starts off with missing a session here or there. And before you know it, you're moving less, eating worse, and pretending you'll get back on track soon enough. Eventually, weeks turn into months, and you reach a point where it's not even about jiu-jitsu anymore, but about getting your rhythm back in training, in diet, and in life. A few videos ago, I talked about how I slipped up myself, and so I built a 30-day reset. Nothing fancy, no motivational BS, just a plan that actually worked. And it can work for you too, if you're willing to be honest with yourself and put in the effort. And that's what we're talking about today. How to get your body, your mind, and your jiu-jitsu back on track, and how to stay there. Welcome to the Alchemy of Struggle, baby. If you're watching this video, you've probably already fallen off, or you feel the subtle slippage. Fewer training sessions, coupled with more excuses. Or maybe you're just trying to spot the warning signs so you know what to look for. Either way, you know that uneasy feeling when the gap between who you were and who you are continues to widen. And if you wait too long to address it, the belt might still fit, but you won't feel like the same person who earned it. So the very first step in any reset is brutal honesty. You need to measure that gap. Unfortunately, most people don't take this approach. We've all seen them, the people who refuse to get on the scale and convince themselves they're just a little bit overweight. In reality, they are 50 to 60 pounds above the ideal they've set for themselves. So now be honest. How's your weight? How's your mat cardio? How are those old aches and pains? Not the ones from training, but the ones from not moving. When was the last time you completed a full round without your lungs wheezing in protest? I had to put myself through this not long ago. I crossed what I call my red line, 220 pounds, that number on the scale that says, whoops, you've let things slip a little too far. Old aches that I had long gotten rid of started coming back. My movements got clunky, and my timing on the mats was way off. It began as a slow drift, but quickly began compounding over time. And that's what makes it so dangerous. It feels manageable right up until it isn't. You still show up sometimes and tell yourself that you're still in shape, but you're just living off the memory of who you used to be. And that's the quiet lie that everyone tells themselves right before the real slippage begins. But sooner or later, you hit that point where reflecting on the problem is no longer enough. You've measured the damage, noticed it in the mirror, maybe even joked about it with your teammates. So you either draw a line right here, right now, or start negotiating with failure. I talk a lot on this channel about the comparison trap. Hurting your own training by comparing yourself to training partners who are younger, stronger, faster, who have far more time on their hands to train multiple times a week. But there's another comparison trap, where instead of comparing ourselves to that ideal image we've built of ourselves, we instead compare ourselves to someone who should never be in the picture. Well, at least I'm in better shape than my fat neighbor. The fat neighbor who hasn't trained a day in his life. When that becomes the standard you compare yourself to, you've already failed. The mistake that most people make is they try to get back on track quietly and keep it to themselves, but then just as quietly quit a week or two later. So the fix to this is massive exposure. When you make your goal public, you remove the escape hatch. That's why I announced my goal to the entire gym and to you folks right here on YouTube. So what you need to do is build your accountability circle. You need at least one person, preferably more, who know the real numbers. Your weight, your attendance in the gym, your diet, everything. I have a training partner who I share text updates with, or we casually update each other at the gym. That shared visibility builds consistency far more than any burst of motivation could. You can't bullshit a spreadsheet full of data points or a training partner who's also keeping score. The next thing you have to do is protect that line once you've drawn it. I literally block my training time in my calendar and told my family, this time is spoken for. If you try to invade that space, you may be disappointed and may even get your feelings hurt. Because if you don't claim your time, the chaos of the world will gladly do it for you. That single act of treating your training schedule like a work meeting that you cannot skip is worth all the worn-out discipline hacks that crowd the YouTube space. Next, you gotta work on rebuilding the foundation, food logging every single day. Not to mention sleep and mobility work. The off-mat stuff is a different kind of jiu-jitsu. It's what makes the mat time even possible. For recovery, my go-to is a smoothie elixir that I've talked about multiple times on this channel. I have found that increased greens like spinach and kale provide measurable improvements in my recovery. But I can't eat that stuff all day every day, so I pack my smoothies full of the stuff. I regularly get double or even triple the necessary daily servings. It reduces inflammation, boosts my recovery, and keeps the engine clean so I can train the next day. Next, you have to anticipate slippage. It's going to happen, whether from family, work, or just life. If you watch this channel regularly, you know that I recently went on a long road trip to North Carolina. I really locked down my diet the week leading up to that trip, and locked it down again immediately upon my return. The goal is to make sure the slippage is only temporary, not terminal. Now let's get to the mats. When you're trying to get back on track, you need to pick training partners with a similar mindset. Steady, technical, and low ego. Skip the young guns who are busy trying to prove something, because consistency beats intensity. And in 30 days, you should start to feel the results. Weight trending down, mat cardio trending up, and your smoothness on the mats beginning to return. Granted, you may not be fully back yet, but you will be back in motion, which is the whole point. For me, I'm fully back just after a few short weeks. But that's because I've built strong habits over many years that allow me to course correct faster than the average person. To learn more about this, make sure you check out the video on this channel about habits versus discipline. But once you've rebuilt momentum, the next challenge begins: staying there. So let's talk about how to make the reset permanent. A lot of people actually get through the reset phase, but fail shortly after reaching the goal. They lose the weight or finally feel smooth again on the mats, and then they stop doing all the stuff that got them there. It's the classic mission accomplished trap. But the truth of the matter is this: the same habits that got you there are the same ones that keep you there. So I still track my food intake, because I know how easy it is to drift without realizing it. And if you hate tracking your food, fine, but find something measurable that keeps you consistent. Next, you want to keep your circle tight. Keep checking in with your training partners. We still talk about weight, recovery, diet. Sometimes those talks happen in the middle of a warm-up or while sitting on the sideline between rounds. That's accountability in its purest form. Unplanned, honest, and in real time. Eventually, you stop trying to stay on track, and it just becomes who you are. You eat right because you know what it feels like when you don't, and you train because you can't imagine life without it. And that's the real reset, when the comeback phase turns into daily habit. So don't overcomplicate it. Just keep doing the small things that rebuilt you, because staying sharp is about not allowing the small stuff to slip again. And if it does, you have the habits and the tool set to get right back on track. And if any of this hit home, make sure you check out some of the free downloads in the description. And if you want to go deeper, make sure you join the channel membership. And as always, I want to thank the subscribers, the channel members, and all of those who comment on these videos for helping me level up this content. But remember, there are others who need this message, so let's help them find it. Like, share, and subscribe. Keep up the good fight, and stay safe on those mats. Peace.